What if the one thing keeping your soul trapped isn't your past, but your refusal to let it go? The life you've been waiting for may already be standing in front of you, but your hands are too full of yesterday to reach for it. Every person carries invisible weight. Some carry disappointment. Others carry betrayal, regret, guilt, or memories of people who have long disappeared from their lives. From the outside, they appear strong. They smile, work, laugh, and continue moving through each day. But deep inside, a part of them remains frozen in a moment that ended years ago. They are physically present, yet emotionally living in a place that no longer exists. Human psychology has a strange relationship with pain. We often believe that time alone heals every wound. But time only moves the calendar forward. It does not automatically release the emotions we continue holding on to. The mind has a habit of returning to unfinished stories because it believes that if it thinks about them long enough, it will finally discover the answer that brings peace. Yet, the opposite usually happens. Every replay strengthens the memory. Every revisit gives yesterday another chance to control today. Think about someone carrying a heavy backpack on a long journey. At first, they hardly notice the weight. Day after day, they become accustomed to it. Eventually, they forget what it feels like to walk freely. The burden becomes part of their identity. Emotional pain works in exactly the same way. Many people become so familiar with sadness, anger, or regret that they no longer see them as emotions they are carrying. They begin believing this is simply who they are. One of the greatest illusions is believing that holding on to pain somehow honors what happened. We convince ourselves that if we let go, we are forgetting the people who hurt us, the dreams we lost, or the mistakes we made. But letting go is not forgetting. It is refusing to allow yesterday's experiences to continue deciding tomorrow's possibilities. Your memories can remain without becoming your prison. The truth is that the event itself is often no longer hurting you. The event has already passed. What continues creating suffering is the story your mind keeps repeating. Every time you tell yourself that you should have done something differently, trusted someone less, spoken different words, or made another choice, you breathe new life into an old wound. The past cannot reach into the present by itself. It needs your attention to survive. There comes a moment in every meaningful life when a person must choose between carrying the past or creating the future. Both cannot occupy the same space forever. A mind filled with old pain struggles to recognize new opportunities. A heart consumed by yesterday finds it difficult to fully experience today. Freedom does not begin when the past disappears. It begins when you stop giving it permission to define who you are becoming. The strongest people are not those who never experienced heartbreak, betrayal, or failure. They are the ones who eventually realize that healing is not about changing what happened. It is about changing the relationship they have with what happened. They stopped measuring their future by their wounds and started measuring it by their willingness to grow beyond them. Because the moment you stop carrying yesterday is the moment your soul finally becomes free to walk toward tomorrow. Once you realize that the greatest burden is the one you continue carrying inside your mind, another truth quietly reveals itself. The past is no longer happening, yet you keep living through it as if it never ended. Every memory returns with the same emotions, the same questions, and the same pain. Without realizing it, you become the author of a story that has already reached its final chapter, reading it again and again while your next chapter remains completely blank. Human psychology is naturally drawn toward unfinished experiences. The mind dislikes uncertainty. It wants explanations, closure, and certainty. When those things are missing, it continues searching through old memories, hoping that one more replay will finally reveal the answer. But memories do not change simply because you revisit them. They become stronger. Every time you replay yesterday, you deepen the emotional pathway connected to it. making it easier for your mind to return there again tomorrow. Think about someone standing before a mirror that reflects only the past. Every morning they look into it, not to see who they are becoming, but to remember who they once were. They see old mistakes instead of present strengths. They see lost relationships instead of new possibilities. They see regret where opportunity should exist. Eventually, they begin believing that reflection is reality. They forget there is an entire world waiting beyond the mirror. This is how many people unknowingly imprison themselves. They continue arguing with conversations that ended years ago. They imagine different words they wish they had spoken. They replay moments they wish they could erase. They wonder what would have happened if they had made another decision, trusted another person, or chosen another path. But no amount of thinking can rewrite what has already happened. It can only steal the peace that belongs to today. There is a hidden danger in constantly revisiting the past. Every memory you repeatedly relive becomes more familiar than the life unfolding in front of you. Slowly, your identity begins forming around what happened instead of what is possible. You stop introducing yourself through your dreams and begin introducing yourself through your wounds. Without noticing, your pain becomes part of the story you tell yourself every day, yet life has never asked you to deny your experiences. It asks something far more difficult. It asks you to learn from them without living inside them. The past should become your teacher, not your permanent home. Every disappointment carries wisdom. Every failure contains a lesson. Every heartbreak leaves behind understanding. But wisdom only appears when you stop trying to relive the experience and start allowing it to transform you. The strongest people are not those who have forgotten their past. They are the ones who remember it without allowing it to control their future. They understand that memories belong behind them because that is where they happened. The future cannot be created by someone whose attention remains permanently fixed on yesterday. Every sunrise offers a silent invitation to begin again, but you cannot accept that invitation while your heart is still searching through yesterday's ruins. Peace is not found by discovering a different ending to the past. It is found by accepting that the story has ended and choosing to write a new one. Because the moment you stop replaying yesterday is the moment your future finally has a chance to speak. After you stop living inside yesterday's memories, you eventually discover the deepest truth. Of all, the pain was never caused only by what happened. Much of it comes from your desperate attempt to change what can never be changed. You replay conversations because you wish you had spoken differently. You imagine different endings because you believe they would have saved you. You hold on to people who have already walked away because part of you refuses to accept that their chapter in your life has ended. Without realizing it, you are fighting a battle against reality itself. Human psychology struggles to accept what it cannot control. The mind constantly searches for certainty because uncertainty feels uncomfortable. When something painful happens without explanation, the mind keeps returning to it, hoping that one more thought, one more memory, or one more imagined conversation will somehow rewrite the past. But reality never changes because we argue with it. The only thing that changes is the amount of peace we lose while trying. Imagine standing in the middle of a river, trying to stop the water from flowing. You push against the current with all your strength, believing that if you fight hard enough, the river will move in the direction you choose. But the river continues exactly as it always has. Eventually, exhaustion replaces hope. The suffering was never created by the river. It was created by the refusal to accept its direction. Life often works in the same way. Many people are not trapped by their circumstances as much as they are trapped by their resistance to them. This does not mean you approve of everything that happened. Acceptance is not agreement. It is not pretending betrayal was fair, loss was easy, or pain was deserved. Acceptance simply means recognizing that reality has already made its decision. The event has happened. The person has left, the opportunity has passed, the chapter has closed. Your refusal to accept it cannot reopen what life has already finished. One of the greatest illusions is believing that control creates safety. We want people to behave the way we expect. We want life to unfold according to our plans. We want certainty about tomorrow before we take a single step today. But the more tightly you try to control everything around you, the more anxious your life becomes. Peace is never found through controlling every outcome. It is found through trusting your ability to face whatever outcome arrives. The strongest individuals understand something that many never learn. There is an enormous difference between controlling your circumstances and controlling yourself. You cannot always decide what happens to you, but you can decide how you respond. You cannot erase the past, but you can refuse to let it determine your future. You cannot force people to love you, stay with you, or understand you, but you can choose not to surrender your peace while waiting for them to change. Real freedom begins the moment you stop asking life to become different before allowing yourself to be at peace. The need to control every ending slowly disappears when you realize that your strength has never depended on perfect circumstances. It has always depended on your willingness to keep moving forward despite them. Because the moment you release the need to control what is already beyond your reach is the moment your soul finally becomes light enough to move forward. Once you accept that you cannot control the past, one final chain often remains. It is not the memory of what happened, but the resentment that continues living inside you. Many people believe they are holding onto anger because someone else deserves to suffer. In reality, resentment rarely imprisons the person who caused the pain. It quietly imprisons the person carrying it. The wound may have been created by another person, but the decision to keep reopening it belongs to you. Human psychology has a natural desire for justice. When we are betrayed, rejected, or deeply hurt, the mind searches for balance. It wants an apology that never comes. It wants the other person to understand the damage they caused. It wants life to somehow undo the pain. These desires are understandable, but they can become invisible chains. As long as your peace depends on someone else's actions, your freedom remains outside your control. Think about carrying a burning piece of coal in your hand while waiting for the perfect moment to throw it at someone who hurt you. Every second you hold it, your own hand continues to burn. The other person may not even know you are carrying it. Anger works the same way. It feels powerful at first because it convinces you that you are protecting yourself. But over time, it quietly drains your energy, clouds your judgment, and steals the joy that belongs to your present life. Many people misunderstand forgiveness. They believe forgiving means pretending nothing happened or allowing harmful people back into their lives. But forgiveness is neither approval nor reconciliation. It does not erase accountability, and it does not require rebuilding broken trust. Forgiveness is something much deeper. It is the decision to stop allowing another person's actions to occupy space in your mind every single day. It is choosing peace over permanent emotional attachment to pain. This does not happen overnight. Some wounds are deep, and healing requires time. There will be days when old memories return and emotions rise again. That does not mean you have failed. Healing is not the absence of painful memories. It is the gradual reduction of their power over your life. Every time you choose understanding instead of bitterness, you loosen another link in the chain that has been holding your soul captive. There is also another form of forgiveness that many people forget, the forgiveness of yourself. Some carry guilt for years because of decisions they regret. They replay mistakes, believing they deserve endless punishment, yet no one grows by remaining chained to yesterday's failures. Wisdom is born when you accept responsibility, learn the lesson, and allow yourself to become someone greater than your worst moment. Your mistakes were chapters in your story, not the title of your life. The strongest people are not those who never experienced betrayal or regret. They are the ones who refused to let those experiences become their permanent identity. They understand that forgiveness is not a gift offered to the past. It is a gift given to the future. It creates space for peace, clarity, and the possibility of becoming whole again. Because the moment you release resentment and forgive, not to excuse the past, but to free yourself, is the moment your soul finally begins to heal. After releasing resentment, you create something. Many people spend their entire lives searching for space. The mind cannot fully embrace tomorrow, while every corner of it is occupied by yesterday. Every new opportunity, every meaningful relationship, and every fresh beginning requires room to grow. But if your thoughts remain attached to old pain, your future will always struggle to enter. Human psychology follows the direction of attention. Whatever you constantly focus on becomes stronger in your life. If your attention remains fixed on loss, regret, and disappointment, those experiences continue shaping your identity. But when you begin focusing on growth, purpose, and possibility, your mind gradually redirects its energy toward building rather than remembering. This is why some people with the most painful histories still create extraordinary lives. Their strength does not come from having an easier past. It comes from making one courageous decision. They stop allowing the past to introduce them to the future. They carry the wisdom of their experiences without carrying their emotional weight. Your future is not asking you to erase your memories. It is asking you to stop living inside them. Every sunrise offers a chance to become someone greater than the person your pain once convinced you to be. The life waiting for you has no room for the chains you have already outgrown. Because the moment you make space for tomorrow is the moment tomorrow finally begins to make space for you. In the end, your soul is not asking for a perfect past. It is asking for permission to begin again. Life has never demanded that you erase your scars. It only asks that you stop allowing them to decide who you become. Every painful experience carried a lesson, but it was never meant to become your permanent identity. Human psychology often clings to pain because it feels familiar, yet healing begins the moment you choose growth over attachment. You cannot change what happened, but you can decide whether it continues to shape your thoughts, your relationships, and your future. That choice belongs to no one else. It belongs to you. The strongest people are not those who never fell apart. They are the ones who gathered every broken piece, accepted every difficult lesson, and continued walking without allowing yesterday to steal another day of their lives. They understand that peace is not found by waiting for the past to disappear. It is found by refusing to carry it any longer. Today, you stand before two paths. One leads back to the memories that have already taken enough from you. The other leads toward a future that has been patiently waiting for your arrival. Every step you take with a lighter heart is a step toward the life you were always capable of living. Because the moment you release what no longer serves your soul is the moment your real life finally begins.